just when I was at home.
I think I got it out. I got it out. Yes. Let me blow my nose first.
Terry.
I was gonna calculate us to take 84 times is how much it was costing us actually to take.
Toodles.
It hurts to move with a man, doesn't it?
I walked around. I did everything.
You walked around on the back.
I did. That's the only nice thing I was jumping about. Monday, they let me have off. Tuesday. I'm back. We're going for a walk at 20 minutes.
Right out here, obviously, Keith is going to be here.
Two of them.
Yeah, they gave me like 4 of them,
Like,
so I just figured, didn't know if you had one.
absolutely. Make sure they were the same. Oh, yeah.
They were probably the ones that were left over when we passed them around the table that,
It's like, I do have 4 of them,
yeah, you probably don't need
making
more.
sure I see them all.
Waste not one.
We were having a class on live streaming when we were passing those around, so.
Getting closer, Jason.
Yeah, I know. Always moves slowest when you're looking at it. Close enough.
Yes.
Call this meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Pipia. Present. Fry.
Present.
Schroller.
Here,
Hughes.
Here.
Bikeman. Price.
Here.
Barons. Thrum.
Here.
7. Got a
Okay.
quorum.
First up, we have approval of the minutes.
Move to approve minutes of the regular meeting, May 10th, 2021.
second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next up, we have public comment. Is anybody here for public comment? No?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Terry?
I have one comment. I noticed by the door back there, we've still got sanitizer and masks
Yeah.
for everybody that are staying distance. I think there should be some transparency amongst us, who all's been vaccinated. And
Well, and that's up to whether people want to say
I
that
want
or
to finish
not.
talking here
Oh,
just for a
okay.
minute.
All right.
I think it's imperative, because we're all sitting close together, I think it's imperative that we know who is and who isn't vaccinated sitting here. Otherwise, I think we should put our masks on. I think it'd be real easy if we tell everybody our situation. I personally am vaccinated. I'm not ashamed of it. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't be ashamed of saying I'm not vaccinated. If I'm not vaccinated, I could be a carrier and I could be getting somebody sick. I think it would be fair and transparent if we all knew how all of us are sitting here. Now you can talk.
Okay, well, and CDC guidelines are that if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask inside or outside. Realistically, I mean, I was at Walmart, nobody's really wearing a mask out there, I didn't wear a mask when I went out there. Nobody's wearing anything that says that they're vaccinated or not.
I think if anybody's uncomfortable about the
No.
situation with us here without a mask on, they should go ahead and put one on. And it's to the point now where it's a personal choice. You know, I understand before, Terry, and we all abided, well, at least most of the people I know abided by it. You know, but that's not like, you're telling your medical. You know, you're not, that's the way I feel. You're discussing like a health, why would you do it? Why would you not get the shot? Why would you set yourself up for that discussion? Go ahead.
Yeah, Terry.
We're not medical when we're sitting this close together. This needs to be addressed.
Well, I don't know, like I say, it's not like we're gonna require people, I don't think, to have a card on them that says that they're vaccinated.
Have a what?
I don't think we're gonna have everybody have a name tag or some kind of a laminated card that they carry around with them or stick on their shirt saying they're vaccinated.
I got one.
Yeah? I mean, I mean, look around the table, I think almost everybody here has been vaccinated.
We don't want to hear what you think.
Okay, well, I'd say, I have been,
Oh, wait a minute.
so you have been.
What's the complaint?
I'd
You can make a motion.
What's the complaint?
make a motion for everybody to state whether
Oh,
they've
you
been
can't make me
vaccinated.
do that. You cannot make me do that. That's a personal, that has nothing to do with the city. You can't make me do that.
It's a violation of your Fourth Amendment.
I forgot to bring my Constitution, I always carry it in my pocket. It's on the desk.
I'm not an attorney, but we have one here. My understanding, this is not a legal opinion, is that there are conditions when one can be compelled to submit such information if it's a condition of their employment, but I don't think that would apply in publicly elected individuals.
All the city council members agree to have a 6-foot.
He's out of order, Mr. Mayor.
Mr.
Mr. Mayor, he's out of order.
He's out of
Oh,
order.
okay.
Enforce it.
Well, do you want to discuss this now, or do you want to wait till roundtable or something? I don't know if this is the time really to be this, Terry.
Now's the hour to do it. Let's get it straightened out now.
Well, what do you
We
want?
can all move away from each other. If we all want to just sit here and be quiet about how we are, that's fine. Or we can all say we're vaccinated, or we've had it. We want to be a spreader, whatever it is. It's got to come out if we're going to sit this close.
Well, that's up to council.
So would you feel better?
Like I say, I don't have a problem
there?
with
If we
saying
all
that.
were, yes. Unless we want to, everybody says, well, we've all been vaccinated and it's all taken care of.
So we don't have to worry about wearing a mask.
Right.
Well, council a couple meetings ago, voted to go, basically, do away with the masks unless you.
I understand
You
that.
can wear them if you want to, or if you feel uncomfortable. We will allow people to stay home and Zoom in. Now, I think that probably went away when we went back to normal procedures.
Mr. Mayor, I don't think we can compel anyone to.
Don't really like
answer it.
that. Like I say,
I'm
personally,
comfortable.
I don't have a problem
I
with it,
I
but
don't
that's
either,
my choice.
and I am vaccinated, so
So am I.
that's on the record, but I'm comfortable saying it. But if somebody else is not, that's on them, that's not on me to compel them. That's my perspective.
I've been vaccinated, so.
Have also.
Get a court order.
Well,
Where I'm gonna go with this. You wanna know my medical records? Get a court order.
I think that's what
That's a political deal. I understand.
No, it's not
that.
political.
I think
it is.
You got no business knowing my medical records, period.
And that's the thing, you're gonna have a lot of people that got vaccinated and they just don't think it's anybody else's business to know whether they did or not.
I'm comfortable wearing a mask.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then you.
Otherwise, we're going to have to separate.
Okay. Okay, he's gonna wear a mask. All right, Now, next up is the Poppy Proclamation,
You've got it right there.
and I have it right here. Diane. Whereas America is a land of freedom, preserved and protected willing and freely by citizen soldiers, whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle, whereas a nation at peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war, whereas the red poppy has been designated a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars, and whereas the American Legion Auxiliary is pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower. Therefore, I, Jason Barnes, Mayor of the City of Marysville, Kansas, do hereby proclaim this 28th day of May 2021 as Poppy Day, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next up, business and discussion items. First up, we have dog training classes in the city park. Is anybody here?
She was not coming.
Okay.
She was not coming. She was not coming. She just wanted, I just thought you guys needed to know, in case you didn't like the idea of her being there that many days in a row. It is a free class.
Yeah, she's not charging anybody. I think she's just wanting some exposure, basically.
On Monday
what-
nights, that's,
On Monday night.
yeah, one night a week, that's nothing. I mean,
Okay.
and good for her, that's really nice for her to do that.
It's a community good.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And it's a good idea, because there's a lot of people don't have a clue.
A lot of dogs don't either.
Well, that rolls back on the owners.
Yes, it
It
does.
always does.
Okay.
If you're okay with that, I
You
will,
need a motion?
I can just,
No.
I just wanted to make sure you were okay with it.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Feldfield Lights quote. Brad Thompson, is he here?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay, from Musco. Hello.
Hello, how are you? I'm Brad Thompson with Musco Lighting, here on Austin's request, and just want to make sure that you guys have a bunch of information from us that we've gotten to Austin. I want to make sure that nobody had any questions, or if there were any questions, that I could answer what those may be.
So how long is this bid in effect? I mean, how long do we
Have to make a decision.
make the decision?
Normally, there's 30 days from when we send it in. One thing I would like to point out is, I'm sure Austin has talked to you, you guys have had some discussions, but the warranty on the system, once it's in, the warranty is 25 years. 25 years includes parts, labor, pieces, cranes, lifts. In effect, what you've done is you've wiped out any need for cost down the road for that system for 25 years. It also includes guaranteed light levels and guaranteed uniformities on the field for that same 25-year period. In all likelihood, it's going to go a lot longer than that, but your warranty will end at 25 years. Because the reality of it is that those warranties are based on certain numbers, and where you're at in Kansas, and this part of the country, you're not going to get to those hours by any stretch to run out of that warranty. So we've got a contract.
If you're not in business for 25 years, then what happens?
We've been in business 40-plus years. We do about 80% of the market share in the States, so I don't think we're going anywhere.
I don't think so. Okay.
Contractor that's putting it in is Hanover Electric, who's worked with us before. We chose Hanover to do the job. They've been over twice, met with me on site twice, so. Just want to make sure nobody had any questions, or if there were any questions, I could be more than happy to answer, or I think you've seen some pictures, or I see people
Yeah, I've got a
turning pages.
question on this particular one here that's got all the miscellaneous numbers on it, 24 and 47s and.
Those are light levels.
Yeah.
Yes, so
figured
what
they were.
those are is those are foot candles. Foot candle is, if you don't know what a foot candle is a measure of light in a square area. So what you do is you measure every 30 feet on a baseball field. The key is to When you're done, have an average of whatever that goal is for that field. Your field is 50-30, which means your infield is 50-foot candles average, 30-foot candles average in the outfield. The difference between the two is purely based on speed. The ball is moving a lot faster when it comes off the bat, and much easier to see in the outfield than it will be in the infield with that speed. Although for a guy like me, it's probably not going to be easy to see it anywhere, but the funny part about that is the average is the foot candle level. The uniformities that I talked about, that's just a fancy way of saying smoothness. The one thing we want you to do when you look out there is we do not want you to look out there and see hot spots or bright spots and shaded spots and things like that, because what happens when that happens is that when the ball travels from a hot spot through a dull spot back to a hot spot, your brain cannot react fast enough. So it's very imperative that the uniformities are extremely good. Uniformities means the maximum number as compared to the minimum number. And we're guaranteeing 2.0 to 1 on the infield and 2.5 to 1 in the outfield. The reality of it is that I'm weird about it. I can tell the difference.
Right.
You probably are not going to be able to tell the difference when you go out and look at the infield and the outfield.
So with our current light system, where would these numbers here be?
Ugly.
I mean, just,
Yeah, they'd be quite low.
Quite
And
low
your,
compared
and,
to
yeah,
what
they
these
would,
are.
and your uniformities would be questionable.
okay, no, I just,
Yeah, they would be questionable to the point where I would worry about the safety, because what happens with the old systems, the old metal halide type systems like you have out there,
Right.
this would be LED. The old metal halide systems, if a light went out, what you would see is you would see like a yellow or an orange. Sometimes you would see a pink look. And then a pole over, you would see a pink look, and the pole over, you would see an orange look, and then you'd see white look. So what happens with most cities, unless you all are different than anybody else, which I doubt, when those lights start to go out and diminish, really what should happen is you should do a group relamp and relamp all of them. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, now the uniformities are getting worse, because now it's bad. You've got lights going out, so let's throw some brand new ones at it and make them even brighter to make the spread or the delta, as it were, even worse, which then it becomes a safety issue. The other thing on our LED system is going to cut the spill, it's going to cut the glare. Your neighbors are going to love you. But there's also on every pole, there's a light that's turned upside down. That fixture is called a ball tracking fixture. The only purpose that light has is to light the underside of the ball. So playability and safety and all those things are off the chart. The way I tell it to everybody, and it sounds corny, like I'm trying to get a laugh, and I'm not, in the days of little Billy and little Susie coming over and saying they lost the ball and the lights are done. I mean, they're going to have to learn how to catch now, because they're going to see the ball from underneath. They're not going to lose it. And what those lights are in case the ball gets above the top of the pole, where there isn't any light, because our lights now, the LEDs are rectangular, as opposed to aiming like this, where you're looking at the light and looking at the source. Our lights aim down. So the other thing that's going to happen is that halo that Grandma looks for when she comes to watch the game is not going to be there. All you're going to see is the beams of light. So. Anything else? Austin, anything that you have?
I did want to add in there, along with the lights, this project, we included, Hanover Electric included an additional proposal to help us fix the electrical issues that are out there right now and prepare us for the future. A more streamlined electrical service. Right now we have 4 meters out there, and I think this gets us down to two meters from 4, and this will help. This setup will help us serve a new concession stand. If we want to keep doing movies out there, and all the other electrical stuff that's currently going on right now, and more streamlined and a more cost-saving setup than we have currently.
And back, not to interrupt, but back to the equipment, you'll have 6 poles. So it's gonna be a much cleaner look. You're gonna have instant on, instant off, and your system also comes with dimming. And that reminded me when Austin said, something about the movies. When you turn your system on, it's gonna go to full power, 100%. You're gonna be able to, by way of a smartphone, whoever you guys decide can have accessibility to that, can put a username and a password in their smartphone, get it out and turn the lights on like that. When you're in there, you can then hit medium and the lights will go to 50%. And the coolest one that frankly, I didn't understand why we were doing it in the beginning, and now it's the one that's the most popular, is you can hit low and it will go to 20%. What we're seeing people use is we're seeing them use those ramp downs to tell people, hey, we're done and it's time to go home. But we're also seeing them use those ramp downs for other things. So if in fact you do have a movie night, you can turn those lights down to 20% and at least have some lights out there for people to safely run around. But it's not going to be so light you won't be able to watch other things or do other things. And then when you're done, you can turn it off as well. So.
Now, when you say that, can you turn on like individual poles?
No, it's the system. You'll ramp
It's
the whole system down, 150 and 20.
Okay.
You could set it up that way, but then that's additional wiring, so.
And this system also comes with security lighting?
Yeah, I think we've got 2. We've got 1 on each one of the A poles.
Okay, yeah.
The security lighting will be on all the time?
Is that,
That's up to you guys.
right? Yeah, we can set it up to be that.
That's up to you guys.
Because realistically, it shouldn't bother the neighbors if it stays on all the time.
No, and what those are is they're security lights. Those are not light level ball field type lights. Those are purely for that. But back to your comment, the neighbors, we're going to cut the spill, virtually eliminate the spill. So the light that was previously permeating onto the road and onto neighbors' yards will be gone. Glare will also be gone. So when you look at the poles, you will not see the source of light, which is really cool for homeowners that live close by because you don't have to sit in your front windshield or front room and watch the lights at the game. So. And then, like I said, the best part's the warranty. There's no cell phone charge or anything, but we're in touch with your system 24/7. We know when your lights are on, when they're off, how many times you've used them this year, how many hours you've used them, who's turned them on, who's turned them off. And if there's an issue, we're going to know before you do, more than likely. So.
What was the lifespan on this?
25-year warranty.
25 years.
My guess is that the warranty is based on 400 hours of usage per year. There's not a chance in my lifetime or anybody else's in here that, or add them together, that you're going to use these lights 400 hours a year. Nobody in the 2 states I cover, or Nebraska and Kansas. So my guess is you've probably got a 40-plus year system. The foundations that these things are, the poles are on, are actually a pre-stressed concrete base. And I don't mean to bore you, but if anybody's a concrete person, those foundations that those poles fit over the top of, and then the poles do not touch the ground, they're 2 foot above grade, that foundation is 9,500 PSI. The only way you can get it that strong is for that foundation to be spun, and all the rebar and all that kind of things inside that foundation already, so.
How long's the current system been in use?
Long time.
It's debatable.
The poles are original, I think, from the 50s.
Yes.
So,
Before I was born.
Yeah,
long time.
Those have been there a while.
Well, I know the cross members on the top are they're rotting out, and they've had to drill holes and.
You can zoom in and see, and then you can also see the woodpeckers have been getting them, and they're probably, I'm not gonna tell you where, but there's another town in Kansas that had kind of the same looking poles, and they actually, had an engineer look at them, and the engineer's response was, get these down tomorrow. Because they rot, not only do they rot from the bottom up, but they actually rot from the top down, which is what should worry more people than it does, because then you got all that weight up there with rotten wood being held together by a steel strap, so.
What's council's thoughts?
All I know is that ballpark's used a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any questions of me or him about this project?
Also, I also got you a finance estimate.
Right,
Well,
and we can talk about financing later.
Yeah, okay.
And that's, yeah. But, yeah, the cost for this project was $275. I'm trying to find that page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, $275, plus the additional Hanover Electric project that was outside, just getting our electrical system ready to go, which was,
That way you're all up to code and everything out there
Yes.
as well, so.
yeah, that gets us a new electrical system out there, so it moves forward with the lights.
These will all be wired underground?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Everything's up inside the pole.
Okay.
There's a box on the pole that's about 12 foot above grade. So right now with your system, you go to the top. If a fuse goes out or a ballast goes out or whatever, you go to the top to fix it. We have a box that's about 12 feet above grade. 98.8% of the issues we have are inside of that box. So with a 10-foot step ladder, you can get to that box and change the fuse, change the driver, and all that kind of thing. So, plus it reduces weight at the top of the pole.
Right.
And heat, so.
Right, and it's right out of range of hands.
Everybody
Yep.
getting to it.
Yeah.
The little kiddos can't mess with it. It's
Yep.
high enough for that.
Yep.
That's what we were curious about, if they're gonna string it overhead like it currently is, or
No.
it'll all be underground.
It'll be,
It's gonna look, it will look remarkable. I mean,
Hanover said they're boring, is that what they said?
it sounded to me like he was gonna bore
Yeah.
almost all of it, if not all of it, but most of it, which is really nice, because then you don't have the settling.
Yeah.
And he will not be going across, into the fields, so.
So the 13,621 includes the boring costs?
No, okay, so what that is it's technically outside the lighting project. That is to get our field back to a modern standard in electrical setup. Right now, we have, like I said, we have 4 meters out there, just because we have different voltages and all this serving the field, and that 13,000 replaces all that and gets it to where we can support these lights and anything else within the ball field, including a new concession stand when we can do that, and the movies and the batting cages and all the lights that are outside the lighting system. So that's just to modernize our electrical system up there.
With 2 meters, you said now?
Just
It'll
2
go
meters.
down to 2.
You go down to 2 meters, which in itself will save us, lots of money every year.
$100 a month
$100 a month,
for minimum.
yeah.
And I will be on site when they originally locate poles and do all that kind of stuff, which I do with Hanover every time we do
So
something.
the 275 is wiring, setting of the poles?
Yes.
Everything's included in this price?
Everything but the
Yep.
13,621,
Yep.
right?
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, that's the turnkey system, outside if we wanted to do extra stuff like he was talking about, but that's the system he's been talking about, the 275
Right.
is everything.
Okay.
And we'll still have to get
You
some,
might have a charge also,
Yes, that.
$3,000 to $4,000 for
Evergy is estimated at an additional 3 to 4, yes.
Right.
Get us a new, what does Evergy have to do?
They move poles possibly,
Oh,
yeah.
I just wasn't sure what part they were doing.
Yep, they would move poles around everything that they own. I mean,
Okay, so that would be
Rich would possibly work with us on that, so that, of course, that's an
up to
estimate.
maybe 3,
Yeah, 3 to 4.
3 to 4.
Yep.
and then we'll still have to get bids on what it would cost, on moving the fence in, correct?
Yes.
Because we
Yeah,
have to
then
do it
we'd
at the
have to talk
same
about
time,
the
because,
fence.
Then we
yeah.
got the fence yet.
And we haven't got the fence.
Yes. And with this setup, I believe, if I'm looking at the pictures right, the poles would be, depending on how you turn the fence, the poles would be you could do the fence after they put the poles in.
Poles are outside.
The poles are outside the
Yes,
fence.
sir.
And they're technically outside that arch area that we need to change. So they could put the lights in, we could find somebody to work on the fence or get time to work on the fence.
Because actually,
However-
the fence issue was the center.
Yes,
Because if it's so far out there, that requires additional poles, so, but your sides were okay.
yes.
Is there any concern with that C2 pole being that close to the Legion?
That's why we did a walkthrough. And when they started working stuff out, Hanover Electric didn't see any issues
There
with
would
that.
still be room for a truck or something to squeeze
Yes.
through there?
Right now, there's plenty of room, and they said we're removing one pole. So everything's going from a 2-pole light to a 1-pole light. So you're increasing your space back there, and it's all, should be self-contained, like right in one spot.
And that pole is not going to exceed, the circumference of that base is not going to exceed 20 inches. And before it goes in, I will be here with Hanover, we will locate it, paint it, stake it, and have Austin come out and everybody can approve before any drill rigs are drilling any holes.
There might be some concrete we need to work with, but outside of that, Hanover Electric was pretty happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the scoreboard will stay where it's at?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, nobody fell asleep, so that's
No.
good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Okay. Well, what do you guys want to do? I mean, does somebody want to make a motion? Do you want to talk about it more later?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if this is a rush thing, or is this the first and only person we're going to talk to about this?
Well, I think there's not I don't think a lot of competition in Kansas with people that do this kind of lighting, correct? I mean, Parker?
There's another company that we talked to. They provided a system, kind of like this, but not really. They didn't have the underball lighting or the guarantee that the spillage wasn't going to happen, and their warranty was 10 years on their stuff. We used Equalis Group to do a. Can you? You can describe this better than I can. Can you describe Equalis?
Yeah, Qualis is a purchase consortium that allows you to make purchases. You guys have joined it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That allows you to make purchase of various items where they have already been bid. So you don't have to go through the process and hire a bunch of people or do a bunch of stuff and spend a bunch of money. And you don't have to go through that process because it's already been bid, so you can ride on the backside of bids that were approved and chosen through Equalis because of prices that we did. And then there's no surprises, which is the really clean thing. And it can happen quicker. Good group to work with. I think you enjoyed the conversation with them. They're very good to work with.
The representative from Equalis was very knowledgeable. And I had this at the last council meeting, the information from Equalis, but what wasn't in that packet was how they bid or they submitted a nationwide bid request or a request for proposal for specific things, like lighting. The sports field lighting was one of them. And they put it in papers across the nation, and USA Today was one of the main ones. Got proposals from at least the sports lighting got 3 different proposals, and they ranked them by various criteria, pricing, quality, and all that stuff. And basically, whoever came out on top of their ranking system, they formed a master agreement with that company, and that's where this comes in. Musco was the highest ranked in the Equalis group for sports lighting via price and quality, and that's where we're at. And cooperative purchasing, which is what this is coming into a big light, especially for municipalities, because it does cut down on time, and it does cut down on use of resources to find people like this to provide a high-quality product. Especially since we don't have, I mean, you're not going to find a sports lighting company in Marysville. You'll go to Kansas City and Wichita and get that, so you might as well find it across the nation. So that's the process we're at right now.
And there will be things that you can use that for after the fact. I'm doing another school right now that unfortunately found out that the roofing system that they were doing, we got going on this too late with them, not fast enough. They could have done their whole roofing system for a high school through this, so there's going to be other options for you to use that.
The Equalis Group has a ton of different categories that we can utilize for things that aren't in our area. I mean, this was just one of them.
Everybody's still awake, Austin, so good.
Yeah.
Good.
Do we have any other option for the financing?
Yes.
That we could get it cheaper than this, maybe?
We have other options, yes, and at a local bank, and they would be more than happy to help us out with it.
Okay.
And it is an option, and like we could, I mean, if council wanted to move forward, I mean, we can figure out exactly how, we are gonna pay for it.
Right.
Going forward.
I'm hopefully trying to partner this up with our fire station, just to, that way we can combine either, and maybe I'll ask our auditors again about this, but if I could combine, the fire station with this, and do the payments all together, it could save us some time and some monitoring, possibly a little bit of money, just have it all in one lease purchase, and go through it that way. And just one set of paperwork, one loan, and handle it from there.
Mr. Mayor. Did I understand correctly, we have 30 days, right?
You don't decide today. I think we'd wanna, if council does wanna do it, I would say we'd wanna decide fairly soon, just because I'd imagine we want to have them start the second that we get done with baseball season.
Right.
Which will be here sooner than you think.
So we could have local bank options by the next council meeting?
We
do.
You have it now.
I have it now. It's 2 point, yes.
I mean, you need to interrupt, I don't mean to be out of line, but
No, please.
the other thing is, you gotta remember, it's 6 weeks to produce the stuff. We've gotta get submittals going, and we gotta get the submittal package to the contractor and to you guys for everybody to sign off to make sure that we're happy, which is when that flagging thing will come in. So there's some time process. I wanted everybody to know, and I should have said it earlier, there is no lights built in Iowa right now. All this stuff's made in Iowa. There are no lights built. Every single project we do is built per your project, because those poles are all in different locations. So there is some time to go once you figure it out.
Perfect. The financing is easy. Yeah, I talked to Lynn at Citizens, and they were fully willing to go all in and combine these two things. 2.95 is what they were looking at.
For how long?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
is there any chance some of this other information that you're talking about, that we could accumulate it, have everything, so that we could decide this at our next meeting? We don't have to do it tonight.
You don't have to. I'm just saying, like he's saying, there's a lead time involved, so if you know that you want to do it, you just aren't exactly sure which financing method you want to use, I would say that it would be beneficial to go ahead and approve, so that they can get the stuff started, getting it made, getting everything lined up, so that we can get it in there as soon as baseball season's done. That's just my thinking of it. I mean, you can, if council wants, you can wait another couple weeks, and we could have some more financing, information for you. It depends on how you want to do it.
Why?
Be nice to know what we're voting on, instead of saying we're doing this, and then, King's X, we gotta do this, and we gotta,
Well, we know, I mean, we know these financing, that's a financing option
He
here.
gave it to us.
Yeah, and we also know,
Lynn.
talking with citizens, pretty
They would
pretty much
just,
what they want.
they would just combine it with our fire station, if that was good with our auditor. Otherwise, they would be fine with separating out the paperwork. But they were looking at a 2.95% interest rate for our loan, or for our lease purchase. And they, yeah.
Either way, whether we did it in 2 projects or 1, they didn't care. They would use 2.95
Yes.
if you wanted this.
But I'm with, I
To me,
mean,
it would make sense to go local and
Yeah.
borrow from them at a lower rate, but, I mean, that's, council can
Exactly.
and we
decide
could
what-
pay it off as soon as we wanted to.
No
and
penalty for early
No,
payment.
no penalty. They said they've never attached a penalty onto it.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Terry?
This Musco outfit, there's no chance of negotiating this interest rate with them then?
Well, I would answer that with, we gave him some rates, and I would, my finance person at the company probably wouldn't be overly thrilled with me saying it to you like this.
Say what?
The finance person at Musco Finance probably wouldn't be overly happy with me saying this like this, but I told Austin in the beginning, I'm gonna present you a finance deal, but 9 out of 10 times, at least 8 and probably 9 out of 10 times, you're gonna get a better rate local when you show them what we gave you. Which is what's just happened here, so.
Yes, but if you want the job, could be that your company could shave this interest too, and we could make a deal real quick.
I don't know what the interest rate was, but I haven't got anything to do with that. I don't think they're gonna get to 2.95.
No.
I don't think that's ethical at this point.
It'd be nice if we knew what you could get here in town before we start talking about this.
Well,
We know,
We
it is
know.
2.95.
2.95.
That's what he said about 3 times.
2.95,
Citizens is 2.9.
That's a pretty good rate,
going local.
yeah.
Yeah, they'd have to not come down to their.
And that's a partner, that's,
And that is a partnership with the other banks as well.
that is a partnership with the 2 other banks.
Yes.
So that's the best we're gonna get locally.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty, I'd love to get loans at 2.9.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a pretty good rate, I would think.
Yeah, dang good.
Well, how much you wanna borrow?
I don't know. But at 2.9, I'd think about it, yeah.
$275,000.
275.
Like I say, it's up to council. I mean.
Well, probably a little
you
more than
can-
that because we got probably close to
13,000.
300,000 by the time we get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we gotta pay Evergy, we gotta pay, well, and then we got
And moving
the fence.
Yeah, and the fence, yeah.
we're probably gonna be close to 400,000 by the time we get done.
Well, no, I wouldn't.
I don't
think
Closer
so,
to
but
5
it'll-
when you put the interest on it.
Depends on how fast you pay it off.
What's council, how do you want to proceed?
I want to make a motion to approve the $275,000 from Musco and the 13,000 whatever,
621.
621 for Hanover Electric, and the 3,000 to 4,000 for Evergy to move poles.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
6-1.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Austin, thank you.
Next up, we have Kester House Museum and Gardens job description.
Ralph?
Somebody actually here for that?
You want to come up for? Put you on the spot, Ralph.
Okay. Does council have any questions after looking over the job description?
I don't.
And basically, so the Kester Foundation and some from the Kester House Museum Board, got together, discussed this, wanted to put some details for a job description. If you guys like this wording, we would incorporate it into our normal job description layout and wording and fix it and include these specific items into it. And this way we can actually tell somebody we're hiring to do the position what their job is. And this is coming from the people who actually take care of the museum, so I trust that this covers a lot of things that normally are done.
So what, have you guys already discussed salary for this person?
No, but it's a seasonal position. It's been 8 to 9 in the past. It's been between 9 to 10 these last few years, dollars an hour. So we don't have the salary per se in this, but it's been trying to follow our seasonal rates so far.
That we use for all.
That we use for, yeah.
Is the hope to find someone who does this as standalone employment, or is this the kind of thing where you're hoping it'll, but I mean, is this flexible enough it could be incorporated with something else? There's been a lot of role combining around town, so.
Technically, this is a curator, not a director, because we have those two committees that really oversee this. The museum board and foundation really oversee the museum. This is just
Curating.
Curating it.
It really, technically, it should be a curator. It is not a director.
Yeah, but I mean, it incorporates a lot of the the social media, the new age stuff. That one of our current employees already does some of that, but just they can have other responsibilities outside of this. They work like from 10 to 4 right now.
I think,
Yeah.
And they take an hour, noon hour.
Yeah. So
And on Sunday, don't they work, it doesn't 10 on Sunday, it's like noon or 1 or something.
right, something like that.
So is somebody retiring and they're hiring somebody new? Is this what's going on?
That's basically the gist of it. Is they're trying to find a replacement.
So this isn't in addition to what they already have?
No.
Okay.
But I don't think we have anything in writing like this for this position.
On most positions.
So, yeah, this just gives it a little bit more definition.
So what do we need, just a motion to adopt
To
this?
accept it.
Move to approve Kester House Museum and Garden jobs description.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
Well, some job descriptions do and some don't. It doesn't have much of like an answerability element to it. It doesn't say
Who they
they
report to?
report to X. If there's issue, it goes through, some sort of chain of command paragraph in there might be nice.
Okay.
Just,
I think that's in our normal
that's the kind of thing
ones.
that could
is.
come up.
We can,
Okay.
we can definitely incorporate that.
It's a boilerplate there. yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, any further discussion?
Well, and they probably should have a wage in there, I would.
We don't put wages on any of job descriptions. We just do ranges, and this is a seasonal, so it'd be in the seasonal range.
Well, then they should say that it's seasonal or.
Right, it
or-
should say seasonal. You are absolutely correct, Diane.
Yeah,
That is
there should be
correct.
something in there
Yes.
for seasonal or
Absolutely.
job rate or.
Right, seasonal job rate, yes, correct.
Yep.
That is correct.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
Okay.
Thank you.
You took
Thank
care
you.
of that for me.
Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the airport hangar contract. We've discussed a few times and it's come up every once in a while for a while now. We've had some issues with some of the hangars not being kept up to probably the
Snuff.
yeah, up to snuff. And we've also had some hangars that have been used for other uses besides airplanes, aircraft. And I guess the question is, how does council want to go forward as far as, the contracts come due, what, next April? Is
Next
that right?
April, but we send them out like in February, March.
Yeah.
So if we want to rewrite them or look something up, we need you to give us some guidance so we can put them together.
When was the last time they were revised significantly? It doesn't
In-
have like
A
a,
couple years ago.
well, we did the pricing.
The pricing.
But not the overall. I didn't know.
93 was,
It's been a minute.
no, that was the original one, and we did one after that, because that's the one that still had the old, let's see, it would have been in, I think it's 7 or 8, if I remember right.
Now that presumably this is all digital, it wouldn't be hard for us to have like a little the year code at the bottom of some of these type of documents, right?
Right.
I was just thinking
It'd
that.
be easier in the future, wouldn't even have to ask this question.
Right. It was, 7 or 8, and that's when they were discussing not allowing,
1997 or
no, 2000.
2000.
Sorry,
Seven.
I'm sorry, I
That's
wasn't
okay.
Well, it wasn't 1897, they didn't
Yeah.
invent the plane
No,
yet,
no, no,
so-
no. About what they could put in their hangars. Because a lot of it says if you have an airplane in there, then if you have something else, the FAA does not look down upon that. But if you have everything else in there and no airplane, they do look down upon it. So that's kind of their.
Well, it should be straight across the board. What do we call them? Airplane hangars.
Well, when I
That's what
looked
we
it up,
call-
the
that's what we
questions
call
pretty
them.
well said they want to make sure that you're not keeping an airplane out so somebody else can store stuff in.
Right.
I mean, that's the
And that's
gist
the
of
issue.
it.
We've had people that expressed interest in having a
Yes.
hangar,
But we
but
have no hangar.
we've got some hangars that are tied up with other things besides
Well,
planes.
If they want storage, there's storage in the area. You know, that's fine. But we have just kind of let it go and kind of turned our back and just let it go its own way. Do we have to make the decision of whether we're going to enforce it and turn it into for the airplane? Or what other kind of air sort of vehicle is there? But
Also,
want-
if you want to get your maintenance a little more detailed instead of in good repair, it would be helpful to us to enforce it.
Like consistent color, no loose materials.
Well, just
or-
some of that stuff if you
Yeah.
want to get a little more.
Security,
in the wind,
that,
yeah.
I think security's probably the way to phrase that,
Yeah.
because if it's secured, then there's
Well,
no
because
loose panels
it
or
does say
holes.
that you're
Or
not supposed to
missing
have any
doors or-
missing
Yeah.
doors or sides
Right.
or that kind of thing. It'd just be nice to have it
It should
spelled
just
out.
look
Loose
nice,
pins
it should look,
flopping around on them. Yeah.
should
And the
look
same color
presentable.
all over
Okay.
would be awesome.
Because, I mean, because there is no like grass or landscaping maintenance, the city does all of that, and does a pretty good job at it as well, I would add.
yes,
So there's 13 hangars?
Oh, yeah.
So it says in here, lessee's use of land premises. It is agreed and stipulated that lessees shall be permitted to occupy said land for storage or hangaring of aircraft and personal property. It is also agreed and understood that the FAA has approved the request for interim use of the subject hangar for non-aviation purposes during the term of this lease.
That was negotiated because they threw such a conniption fit in 2007, because there were people that were storing things up there that had nothing to do with an airplane.
so we need to
Probably
be proactive and
remove
change
that,
it.
probably.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I was reading that and I thought, that needs
Yes.
to go.
And that's-
Yes.
And that seems a little unnecessary anyway, because it says planes and personal property, which. that's-
Which in the
which
FAA
is-
regulations, when I looked them
which is
up,
the way
say
it's
that.
phrased, exactly in
Is exactly
there.
what it
Yeah,
says
I
here.
read that.
But adding that extra thing in there saying you can just store stuff.
Yeah.
That was
It's-
basically the out, like, no, you don't have to have a plane, you don't have. yeah.
Right, that was the negotiation
Gotcha.
at the time. That is correct.
But you gotta remember back then, we didn't have these cute little storage buildings we have around town now to put stuff in, like,
True.
you know, people that had the stuff.
And it
weren't
was a
here.
lawyer that
2007
was
they did?
fighting,
Huh?
so.
2007, there weren't storage units in Marysville?
Some of them.
Well-
Maybe just starting.
Some of them
They
might
were
just
the
started.
ones
Just
behind
starting,
Marysville Glass, and those were the first ones.
Yeah.
I just figured they'd been here longer.
No.
No,
I wasn't in town then.
I think they've been there that long though. There's 207 behind Marysville Glass. I bet they have been.
Oh, yeah.
But the new ones down here hadn't been built yet, and then
Oh,
those
but
ones
the ones
out west.
behind
Yeah, I
Marysville
know the
Glass
ones
have
out
been.
west
Yeah.
are newer. yeah.
Nor the ones that are
Yeah.
down here at the bottom.
Bulldog ones, yeah.
Bulldog ones too.
But like I say, I mean, I think the thinking was that if we are gonna change it, we needed to get it changed and get those people notified so they had plenty of notice, so they didn't say this came from nowhere.
That they can remove stuff or fix
yeah.
stuff or sell their hangers, put them up for sale,
Yeah.
whatever they
I'd
choose.
say we
'Cause-
strike that, in that paragraph there about the,
Personal property?
yeah, well, I mean, as long as it's personal property,
Aircraft and personal
And a plane,
property?
yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Because if you have a plane, you're gonna have a
FAA
lot
wording
of,
to the T.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no addition to the FAA
Right.
wording,
Right.
the FAA wording.
Okay. Which I just happened to have downloaded.
And then someplace we need to say,
And then down in that next paragraph, it
Next
says maintain the
paragraph.
hangar, so I don't know how, if you want to add words to
Lessee
that.
shall
Maintain and
the
secure,
hangar
I mean,
and
I would add in,
state of repair.
so no ingress or egress, what's the legal terms there, John? If we were telling somebody they had to have a structure sealed up, how would we go about phrasing that?
I think it's in our public nuisance
Is
notices.
the
Yeah.
language in there?
I'd probably steal something from there.
Okay.
Might as well be consistent.
yeah.
Lessee shall make it in a good state of repair and shall maintain all certain adjacent for clean.
But there's pieces of tin on the current ones that are
Yeah.
flopping around, been flopping around.
They're not secured.
Huh? They're not secured,
Yeah.
right.
And do you want them to be a consistent color? I mean, that they're painted, I don't know how you're gonna go about
I
that. if
That's
you really
tough
want
when
that.
painted
that,
galvanized
yeah.
is really difficult.
Oh, I know, it is.
Yeah, but what about the ones that are painted and peeling already?
Yeah, that's what I mean, is like you sandblast them, I guess?
Yeah.
Like
I
soda
don't know.
blast them? Yeah.
And I don't know if those are galvanized ones that were painted before, or if they were actually
Right.
painted and
That's-
just like house paint coming off. So,
I just wondered how you wanted to word that part.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
it'd be really nice if they're painted.
You could steal some language from the intermodal.
There you go. So use existing language in these.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't mandate that everybody has the same house color
Oh,
and all
absolutely.
that
No,
stuff.
no, no.
So
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, but, we do have abilities to go, that doesn't look very good, so let's get that going.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, secured is the word, the reason I keep bringing it up is it catches it all, because that makes sure there's doors. That's make sure there's nothing loose.
Doors and walls and
That
windows.
makes sure there's no holes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if there were a hole, like it actually got so rusty, there was a hole in the side, that's not.
And the way I read that contract, I mean, council has a lot of leeway, because if council doesn't think that it's up to snuff,
That is
they
true.
just don't renew the lease, and then they've gotta
Well, they
tear
got
it
30
down.
days to tell them to get out of the lease.
Okay.
You don't even have to
Who's-
wait to the end of the
And the
lease.
city inspector is the one
Well,
who-
I don't know, is that what you want?
That's the thing too, that's not in here.
No, I mean, normally it's the, they
No,
just
there's,
bring it
there's
to
something in
council.
here about inspector, cause
Is it?
Where's she?
number 8,
On 8.
Who's at least,
Yeah, they're agents and employees have the
city
right-
code and.
Oh, code enforcement officer,
Police
yeah, I didn't
officer,
catch
fire
that.
chief have the right to look. Okay, so yes.
During reasonable hours.
Well, we're only here during reasonable hours,
Except for the fire chief.
except for the fire chief, right. So,
So you bring it back with all the modifications for re-review?
Yep, yep. We just wanted to get it started,
Thank
so
you.
they weren't the last minute.
And number 10 is that they have the 30 days to comply,
Yeah, if we say something's wrong, they have 30 days, otherwise we can
terminate the
terminate the lease. So you don't have to wait till 1 year or 2 years or 3 years.
Like, you need to stick to it.
Okay. All right, so council's agreement, we'll have that written up for next council meeting. Okay. Next up, we don't have anything in notices and hearings, the consent agenda. Actually, we don't have anything underneath that one, do we?
Nope.
Appropriations ordinance number 3748.
Move to approve appropriations ordinance 3748.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Yes, Terry?
I wanted to ask a question. I was curious when I was going through these deals where I noticed this one where there was authorization for $2,200 for motel fees in Fort Lauderdale. Who approved that?
I did, and it was for that training that, Matt Simpson went down for,
Training.
training. The FBI LEDA, he got an award down there.
Okay, we spent,
What is
without council approval, you did this?
Yeah, it's under my purview.
What about the airline tickets that probably were included too there somewhere?
Yeah,
How much were they?
it's training, it's all,
I think we had to pay the airline tickets. I thought those were given
I
to us.
thought some of it was covered.
I think the motel we paid, but I don't think we paid for airline tickets.
to get them down there.
Positive.
Yeah, I don't have the exact numbers, but, I approved him to go down for training and receive the award, the nationwide award that he received.
For two to go.
Right, and,
As long as the taxpayers knows what happened there.
right, Chief Ackerman went down as well, but his is 100% reimbursed because he's on the board, or he's former president of FBI LEDA.
So the city will be reimbursed for his,
Yes,
so then we're really not, the city's not, taxpayers not paying $2,200, they're gonna only pay part of this?
right. They'll reimburse whatever, the training, and I don't even think but yeah, he gets his paid for because he was a president at one point in time of FBI LEDA.
Okay, I just wonder when taxpayers are spending money like that, why, they ought to know about it.
Right.
That's all I had to say.
Okay. Any further discussion about the spending ordinance? Okay, roll call.
Hippiah,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yeah.
Bikeman, oh, not here. Price,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Thrum,
Yes.
7-0.
All right, next up, Austin with the staff report.
Do you, she didn't even put that down at the bottom.
What?
The contract.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, can we move
Okay,
it
do
number 10?
we need to move that contract up for the,
Oh, well, she thought you wanted it under attorney.
yeah, she put a 1 under attorney and didn't put the name.
The cohorse contract?
Yes.
Mine does.
It says cohorse, or what did you want?
Oh, mine doesn't say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. They need one of them 4 that we gave to Todd.
I can ask you a copy of
Sorry.
the.
Okay, I believe you. Okay, so let's move that up before
wanna
we
move it
do
up? Okay.
this,
Okay.
if you don't mind, Mayor.
Okay, so I'll better write that on here so I know what we're doing. Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
I would just like to introduce this contract and the owner, Joseph A. Course. He is in the audience and will be available for questions. We had a discussion with the council, and the consensus was to proceed with drafting of a contract. We had a discussion about referring it to a committee, and the decision was not to refer it to a committee, but put something together to bring it back to the council to look at. One thing, given the discussion, I went ahead and used the appraised value. That's the $35,780. That's directly off the county appraiser's records. That's the current appraised value. We also talked about, well, what are you gonna do with this property if you acquire it? And that was something you may want to discuss further tonight, since you'll be accumulating one more additional property in this area. The council has approved 2 other properties on this row-type buildings here. And roughly, if it's highest best use is demolition, it's roughly right in the ballpark of all of them. This is a little bit larger area. And so it's real close in terms of the other properties too. So standard terms of contracts, everything's split, nothing out of the ordinary for a real estate transaction. It's really a policy question of, for the council, if you want to accumulate this property or take down these properties, these buildings. There are some concerns of adjacent occupants who believe the property is unsafe. And so that's kind of where we're at. We're bringing it back. Mr. Coase here, and you can hear the council's comments. You know, I do not have a signed contract by him.
Okay.
Under the contract, it's all contingent upon the council approving it, and it has to appropriate the money. So nothing has been signed, nothing's been, it's all subject to the council's approval. I'm open to any questions.
Has Joe seen a copy of this yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. He's fine then with the July 6th closing?
We have,
Or-
I picked it up, we hasn't really talked about it. When I do my contracts, I try to be fair, and I was not asked to pull the wool over anybody. It's just a fair contract, typically what is done in a real estate deal as far as allocation of costs. There is one thing, he did want to remove some personal property items from the buildings, not necessarily include that, there's plenty of time, it hasn't been approved yet or signed. So if he wants to remove anything he wants, it's, you know. But we would add it to the contract if it is an issue, but I'm trying to think what was in there, maybe lights or something like that, or you may want to remove it, so.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants, do you want to talk about what you wanted to get out of there, or?
I want to scrap as much stuff as I can get out of there.
Okay,
Kind of what,
all right.
there's a lot of things that, you know, like.
I can't hear him.
They got ready to-
Ms. Gorse, I can't hear you either, can you come up and speak to the microphone? This is Mr. Gorse.
Like we,
Hello.
It got run into the back. We put all new had to put all new paneling back where the bathrooms were and that. While it probably wouldn't be good for a house, in my garage over in Home City, I got the stud walls built, but I can put that up there and finish in there, and then just, that we had to bring it up to code, and power box, you know, and
Yeah,
just anything I can take out of it, because I'm getting under what I paid for it anyway.
yeah.
And it was interesting that the city offered me less than the appraised value first. I paid taxes on it, but they didn't want to pay it all, but that's all I got to say. Just as long as I can take whatever I want out with any problem and have, you know, enough time to do it. Hopefully before closing, I can get most of it done.
Yes, do you think July 6th is enough time to get what you need out of there, or?
I'm hoping it is, but,
Okay.
you know, I'm 70 years old, I don't move too fast. Got dry stakes to see if I'm moving.
What if we added 6 more days on, made it July 12th?
Well, whatever, I mean.
Well, the reason I
yeah.
asked is there's something else coming down July 12th also.
Yes,
That's fine.
That's the
that
only
works, it
reason I-
coincides,
fine.
that'd be good.
Yeah,
So July 12th.
coincides with something else.
Yeah, and I mean, other
I
properties
mean,
we
any more
bought.
time's appreciated, but I hope I can get, you know, hopefully I can get the stuff done.
Okay.
Okay.
Hard part so far been working in my garage, get enough room to put it in. Such a hoarder.
Can be. Does council have any other questions for Joe? Okay. Well,
Once again,
I
it's clearly a
think,
budgetary
I
issue.
think that's it then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Okay. Well, what's council's thoughts?
No reason not to let him go and get the, you know,
Yeah. Add that in there, add the 12th, change that.
Yep.
Okay.
Move to approve the real estate contract
Second. With those
Yes, sir.
changes.
with the changes.
Then are we gonna buy Patty Day too?
No,
Where's it stop? Is there a
I'd
is there a
say
good wall
it's
between
stopping
them?
right here.
Yeah, they're not, they
And
shouldn't be,
it's
No
half-
reason
And it's
to-
a half block
It's a
deep
half-
there,
yeah.
right? Or a quarter
short
block
building.
deep.
A shorter building, so we saved some money on demolition costs because we got a lot less wall to try and save.
yeah.
Okay, I had a motion, I have a second.
In the
Okay.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Got to pose.
Okay.
Okay.
6-1.
6-1.
Okay.
Now we get back to,
That's Austin.
yeah,
Alright.
now it's Austin with the demolition.
All right. So we come back to this, and in my, RFPs, requests for proposals. I separated out residential buildings from the commercial buildings as far as demolition services. Now, you guys can choose however you want to do this. If you want to demo them all, if you don't want to demo them all, which ones you want to send out for demo. And I did set it up to include the Cohorse building as well. I X'd out the address on page 53 as well as on the description. That should be 612. Yeah, 612 instead of those X's to include in there. I tried to make sure everything in here, so from making sure they get landfill receipts, covering their loads on their way down, abiding by all city policies, making sure they were insured, some special requests. For instance, I just make this whole, I put July 12th, not until after July 12th, as well under the building locations, just like I did 205 North 10th Street on page 48, and wherever else I mentioned that. That way they can have their time to get out. More than likely, if you, for instance, approve all the RFPs to be sent out, we give the contractors a month to evaluate the properties, how they want to go after them, and submit a bid for each location. And so they have a month. You guys get to review their bids, approve them, and more than likely, unless they're not busy at that point in time, they're not going to start right away. That's just a guess on my part, unless they are looking for work at this point in time.
There's no timeline on this for completion of work.
Not as of right now, but that could be a good thing to add on to these.
I think they all need to be completed by December 31st of this
December
year.
31st.
It'd be nice, I was gonna say Thanksgiving.
December
Like a busy winter though.
31st.
Or once started, they need to complete that project.
Yeah.
In
Maybe
so
that's what
many
you're trying to
days.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably not.
Those are, just to flush that out a little bit further.
Okay.
If you do that, you're gonna have to give them some rain days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I said if they're completed by the time they start by December 31st, we,
Yes, Terry?
My question is, what is the rush?
I mean, there's not a rush. I mean, the houses down by the street shop would probably be nice to get those down right away. The buildings on Broadway, you know, I mean, they wouldn't have to come down immediately, but
As long as they're
the sooner the
secured.
better.
Yeah.
Well,
they look
the worst.
yeah.
You need the
Define
ones on Broadway,
secured.
you guys were in such a big hurry to get them down so they didn't fall on the murals, we better get them
know.
down. That's why you
They're
said
rough-
we had
they're
to
rough
get them
looking.
bought, so let's get them down right
Yes,
away. You said we had to get them down, so let's get them down.
I'm having a little bit of trouble in Ward 2. I don't know anybody that's gonna benefit by a big rush on this when we're already spending 400,000 on a ballpark and $500,000 or what, $1.5 million on a fire department and stuff. Why can't these houses sit for a while?
That's up to council whether they want to, I mean, if
I
council
mean, we're
wants to let
trying
them
to
sit,
spend
they can
everything we
sit.
can in the real estate game, and if nobody in my ward's getting any benefits from the tax dollars that's being paid today to take care of us now. This is all for stuff in the future.
Well, that's what a good council does, I think, is plans for the future. I mean, these are properties that.
Fire station is
The
stuff.
fire station's fine, I'm not arguing about that. What I'm saying is, we're buying up real estate when maybe we could asphalt a street. It's not fair to the people.
Well, I think that especially some of these they're blighted looking coming into town, and we're really trying to turn this into this nice little town to travel in. And I mean, every town has their little spots, but we have more than a little spot. right there, and we got the beautiful park there. We're working on the downtown area. Yeah, we could wait on this, but I think we're on a roll here in a positive manner to get this done, get the upkeep going. I think that's why it's really a good idea. And besides, like the one that's by the pony park, there's chunks falling off of it.
Yeah.
Just
On the
chunks.
sidewalk and the
Oh, yeah.
pony park
Yeah.
and the
It's
front
not,
sidewalk.
it's not
and-
good.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about the other ones up on, 12th Street?
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you drive by there, I don't know, it just needs, another one just needs to be done, and it's sad that were unable or didn't foresight it enough or were unable to take care of it. And this lands on the city, and a city that cares about the way it looks takes care of these things.
And taken holistically, not every ward has part of downtown, but downtown's an asset for the whole town. In
Yeah.
the same way a fire station or a park or anything, it's not so much about what ward they fall in, so much as preserving that or improving that for the whole town.
That's right.
My 2 cents.
Good job.
I definitely think we need to get the 2 down here by the horse taken care of, because those are the ones you said we had to get out of there because they were gonna fall on the mural. So let's get them down and get those taken care of first.
Well, now that they're ours, we're responsible.
That's right. We bought them, now let's get them out of there, because we're responsible now. Those are the first ones we need to get done. Then we'll worry about the other stuff.
I mean,
I think you're gonna get your best money worth if you put the buildings and the 2 houses that we own all together in one.
Okay.
I think you're gonna get more contractors that are gonna bid on it because it's gonna be worth their time to bring all their equipment to town.
Right. You may get somebody from out of town
So-
to come in and bid.
That 1205 Carolina Street.
Uh-huh.
I think we better be pretty honest with the contractors what it is. It's a hoarder's house.
Okay.
Because they're gonna have to open it up and clean it out before they demolish it.
Okay. My thought process was everybody would have the option to bid all of them at once.
Right, I just
And-
didn't want the 2 houses to end up with 2 different bidders that are right next to each other.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, my hope is that we get one contractor for all of it.
I-
And that way we got one person to talk to. It just, yeah. So if you feel better, I can combine the houses onto one document. And when I first started it, I had them all on one document, but, is that what you,
I'd like the Broadway house and the South 4th Street house and the buildings all on one.
okay, I
Because
can do that.
we own them.
I can do
Oh,
that.
because they're
And
ours.
then the 1205 Carolina, I think we're gonna have a little shock of what it's gonna take to clean that up.
Okay, so I can definitely set it up that way.
Okay.
Yep,
And then I think the apartments, I think we ought to get a price on it. I'm
Okay.
not saying we're gonna
get a price.
jump right on it, but
Yep.
it'd be nice to see what the price is.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
That's
a
what-
little leery about taking that one down.
Is that what council wants to do then? Go out for bid, all the properties we own together, and then the
Can
2
you
other
not
ones separate?
refuse some if you see some that were bid too high or
Yeah,
you
we
get a
can
better deal?
reject or
You can
refuse
always
any or
reject them
all, right?
all, so
Right.
whether you bid them separate or
Well,
as a
we also
group.
know that a lot of the people that will be bidding and how they do the work also.
Yeah.
Whether they're gonna go in and clean up, do a good job cleaning up, or they're careful, hence the murals, hence somebody else's property to the,
Well, we knew
other
there were
side.
people that would take down businesses, bricks, and there are people that'll take down houses, but they aren't necessarily gonna take down both.
okay. So how do you feel about, so I get all of the buildings that we own under one document, have the 2 houses on one of these bid sheets, and the commercial buildings on another bid sheet. That way we can see just a little deference, I guess, between the 2, but still the
fine,
same bid.
But 1205 Carolina is separate. from
And then
the rest.
1205 and the one on 10th Street in a different group.
Right.
Yep, I can
And,
set it up that way.
1205, there needs to be a note in there that it has to be sorted.
Okay,
But the commercial ones are a priority.
yes. Sorted.
Yeah, because it has it's two different categories of waste.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I can set that up. I'd ask for a motion to go out for bid on these with those changes. So I'll just walk through it again. All the buildings we own under one document. Let's see. And then separate out the one on 10th, the apartments on 10th Street, and 1205 Carolina, a note for 1205 Carolina that needs to be sorted. And then, and then a not to start before July 12th on 10th Street. And I guess it's all of them. I'll just
Yeah.
encompass all of them.
Yeah.
July 12th. July 12th, not to start before July 12th on all of them, just to keep it simple.
Yeah, 'cause that's on
And
Broad-
ending December 31, I might talk with engineers about possible working days. I don't know how well that'll fit into this, but I'll see if I can incorporate some working days in there. But other than that, to end by December 31st, but not to have it open for too long.
The apartments on 10th Street, we don't own the apartments on 10th Street.
Well, no, but those are the ones that we've condemned.
The what?
Those are the ones we condemned.
Murphy's.
I realize that.
There's nothing says council has to pay to have them demolished, but we just asking to get a price to find out what it would cost us,
Oh, okay.
is all we're asking. I mean, council can get the bids in and not approve any of them if they don't want to.
Correct.
So,
Move to go
let's get
out
a
for-
motion.
Yeah, move to go out for requests for proposals on the residential and commercial buildings, as
Second.
Austin had stated.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. All right. Next up, standing committee reports. Does anybody have anything on street? Water and wastewater treatment?
When's that water line project start?
They were being held up at another project, but they had gotten the parts shipped in, and they're supposed to start sometime this month or early next month. Kent was trying to find a parking spot for one of their trucks, so they're getting close.
Now, is that the cured-in-place piping, or is that the water line?
That's the water line.
Okay, and is there a cured-in-place?
Right now, they're cleaning sewer pipes.
Okay.
Yep.
Cleaning and televising.
Yeah, cleaning and televising, and then a month after they're done, typically, they'll come back and say, we're ready to line.
Have they found much for low spots yet?
I haven't had a report of any just yet. We've found some flush tanks, which is a good thing.
Good.
That's a good thing. It's
good.
So, and
And it's the last one, right?
Last one.
we found 2 so far, and it's been beneficial because we can't line those ones just yet, but they're on short lines. So we can exclude those for now, put them on our last round next year, possibly find another line to line this year just to even out our numbers, and keep it going, keep it, understandable this year. So, yeah, but we can start narrowing down those flush tanks so we can get them taken care of next year.
Anything else on water, wastewater?
What about meters? How are we with meters?
I mean, still getting them installed, I suppose, as they find time,
Well,
right?
right now, we're fixing water
Well,
lines.
yeah, that.
I mean, we haven't.
We install new ones, all the time, actually.
Have you still been able to do that?
Yeah, and,
Okay.
I think in our last report, we actually installed some pits too, so, still working on that. We're hoping to expedite some of our pits, with Deep Creek, who's doing our water line project, cause they would have the boring equipment in, so we could possibly knock out some of those pits on our list and be easy with it, because they're already in town. And they usually are, unless they're really, really busy, which happens, they're usually helpful in getting some of these extra projects while they're in town. That's our hope right now.
Okay, anything else on water, wastewater? Parks and Rec?
Where are we at on that concession stand?
We haven't received any feedback from any of the contractors we've talked to. I'll have Will circle back with them. I think we talked to him a couple weeks ago. And to be honest, it's a challenge when there's no guarantee they're gonna get some work to give us prices.
Well, and they can't get material.
And they can't get material right now,
Nobody
so.
wants to bid anything.
But,
Well, and materials change constantly, so what they give us today may not be anything in
No.
30 days. So
but
that's
no,
where-
we talk about it at least once a week, trying to
Okay.
keep on top of them.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on Parks and Rec? Cemetery and Airport? Police and Fire? Admin and Finance? No appointments. Does anybody have any questions for the city attorney, or city attorney have anything for us? You don't have anything for us?
Nothing further.
Any reason for an executive session?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I move the city council recess into executive session, discuss personnel matters, non-elected personnel, discussion on specific personal matters, not general personal politics, exception KSA 75-4319B1. Session will include the mayor, city council members. Meeting will resume back here in
Do
the
you
chambers.
want, do you want the city attorney?
Okay, and city attorney. Meeting will resume back here in the council chambers.
8:40?
Yeah, 8:40.
8:40.
Can always extend it, so. Okay. I don't know. I mean, we can do it either way. I mean, we can go back to going in the back like we used to, or we can stay out here.
Do.
Stay here.
It is nicer out here. There's no chairs for everybody.
Boot these guys out.
Big moved out.
See ya.
Cindy and them all left.
I need a second.
Oh, second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We got better places, haven't we?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, during the executive session, no binding decisions were reached by the council, and we're returning at this time and place for open session.
Thank you. All right.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move we return again to executive session. I move the city council recess to executive session, discuss personal matters, non-elected personnel, discussion on specific personnel matters, not general personal policies, exception KSA 75-4319B1. This session will include the mayor, city council member, and city attorney. Open meeting will resume in the city council chambers at 9 o'clock.
Okay. All right, that a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
15 seconds.
And by the time it comes up, we'll be
Yep.
out there.
Yep.
Should I make a motion?
Not
Yeah,
yet.
No,
we
not
got a
yet.
We gotta
report
wait
that we
for-
didn't do
we
anything.
gotta wait for
Oh,
video to
wait
get back
another
up.
minute?
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Okay, it's 9.
Should be good to go.
Yeah, you're good.
Is the TV on?
Yeah, it's, this is in.
Oh, okay. Mr. Mayor, during the period of executive session, the council reached no binding decision of returning at this time and place for open session.
Okay. All right, meeting's back in.
I move the city council recess into executive session, discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel, discussion on specific personal matters, not general personal policies, exception KSA 75-4319B1. The session will include the mayor, city council members, and city administrator. The open meeting will resume back at the
City attorney.
city attorney, excuse me. The meeting will resume back in council chambers at 9:10.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Awesome. Who's sitting with the,
That's his replacement.
oh, what's a replacement?
I wondered.
Oh, okay.
Paul's
He's an
going back
intern,
to.
yeah.
Paul's going back to college.
Oh, fine.
Now I feel the cool. I just did some.
It's not hot in here by any
Yeah.
means.
Right, John?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to report back that during the period of executive session, the council reached no binding decisions, and we're reporting back at this time and place for open session.
All right, I guess next up, we have roundtable. Bobby?
No.
Todd?
We ever gonna get these ceiling tiles fixed?
Those are on back order.
Still?
Yes.
That doesn't
Okay,
shock me a bit.
do we have those tiles anywhere in, like, that room in there or something? We could swap them and then fill those in later, just so it looks nicer?
We could do that.
Just an idea.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing I'd do. That's all I got.
What's up there, huh?
Nope.
Terry?
I'm not gonna tile into that.
Parker?
Nope.
None? Colleen? Kev?
Yeah. Keith, he wasn't here, but he, wanted me to check on what our progress was on the Eagles Club, if we ever checked with them on getting that boarded up and that piece of plywood pushed back up in there. I noticed today, when I drove by at the, southeast corner, it looks like a 2x6, maybe a 2x8 starting to fall out of the soffit up there. Okay. So,
I'll circle back with Will on that and
Okay.
see where he's at.
okay, that was the only thing Keith wanted me to bring up. I have nothing myself, sir.
I don't have anything.
Oh,
Move to adjourn?
don't forget to go to the cemeteries on
Oh.
Memorial Day
Yep.
and wear your poppies.
There are
So,
puppies.
yep,
Poppies.
yep.
All right, I had a motion, I had a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?